welcome back to 5-Minute Fridays. I am just about to start my 5-minute workout for today. You can see that I have a plyo box here. So if you have a plyo box, go ahead and grab it. We're using it today. But if you don't have a plyo box, that's absolutely fine. You do not need any equipment whatsoever to follow along with this workout. We are doing push-ups, so if you do push-ups from your knees, you're going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one, but if you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. And if you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So I'm actually going to be doing 3 different versions of the same workout. There are just 2 exercises. So I'm going to start by showing you the more advanced versions of these 2 exercises, but then I'm going to show you an intermediate kind of version with no plyo box, and then I'll show you your beginner / equipment free modifications. And again, I'm going to do all 3 workouts right along with you. So if you're a beginner, you don't have to worry about applying modifications while you're watching me do something else. All right, but let's go ahead and get started with the more advanced versions of these 2 exercises. So the only other thing I'm using today really is a pair of fitness gloves. If you don't have fitness gloves, they're not strictly necessary, but they just make this exercise a lot more comfortable because I'm going to be doing push-ups with my hands on the plyo box. So if you have fitness gloves, go ahead and grab those as well. But I'm just going to be doing a push-up with my hands on the plyo box. So this is my medium plyo box. There's a short plyo box, a medium plyo box, and a tall plyo box. So we're going to be doing 2 different exercises. We're going to be doing push-ups with our hands elevated on the plyo box, and we're going to be doing box jumps. So something to keep in mind, for your push-ups, the lower your plyo box is to the ground, the more difficult your push-ups will be. And the taller your plyo box, the easier your push-ups will be. But the inverse of that is true for the box jumps. The shorter your plyo box, the easier your box jumps will be. The taller your plyo box, the more difficult your box jumps will be. So if you're super advanced, you have really strong legs, and you want to use a taller plyo box for your box jumps to increase the difficulty, great. If you have access to multiple plyo boxes, if you want, you can then use a shorter plyo box for your push-ups. Or if you want to increase the difficulty on your push-ups, you also could do your push-ups with your feet elevated on the plyo box instead of your hands. The reason I'm doing my hands elevated on the plyo box is just to help the exercises flow a little better, but I'll show you that modification as well if you want to increase the difficulty. But I'm doing the push-ups with my hands on the plyo box. So you can set your hands flat on your plyo box like this if that's what's comfortable for you. I find it much more comfortable to kind of grab a hold of the sides of my plyo box like this. And then from here, I'm just going to step my feet back so that I'm in a plank position while holding onto my plyo box. And then I'm just going to bend my elbows and lower my chest as close to the plyo box as I can. Ideally, you want your chest to tap the plyo box, and then press into the plyo box, push yourself back up, and return to your starting position. That's it. It's just a push-up with your hands elevated on the plyo box. So with all of your push-ups, regardless of what push-up variation you are choosing to do, just remember these 3 bullet points. Number 1, head is in line with the spine. So if you imagine that you are standing with your back up against the wall and just lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall, that is where you want your head to be. That's where you want your head to stay. So make sure that your head is in line with your spine, and then make sure that your head stays still. Don't bob your head up and down while you're doing your push-ups. The second bullet point is shoulders away from the ears. So what that means is that it's a tendency a lot of times to kind of sink down into your shoulders like this. Do you see how my shoulders are hunched up by my ears? We want to correct that by pressing the box away, pushing yourself up high as you can in your plank pose so that your shoulders are away from your ears. And your third bullet point is you want to keep your back flat What we're trying to avoid is an arched back like this. So as you fatigue, you might find that it's difficult to keep your hips lifted high and keep your back flat. You need to really, really tighten up your abs. Imagine someone's about to come along and punch you as hard as they can in your stomach and you're bracing for that impact. That's how tight your abs should be, and you're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. So what you want is to have your body in one perfectly straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders. And really that straight line extends from your heels all the way to the crown of your head, because your head is perfectly in line with your spine. And once you've got that nice straight line from your heels all the way to the crown of your head, nothing moves. You're bending your elbows and you're lowering your chest as close as you can get it to the plyo box. But really imagine that your body is literally a plank of wood, like a 2x4, so it can't bend. So you're just lowering your plank of wood down to the plyo box, pressing yourself back up, and doing your best to keep your body in one perfectly straight line while you do that. So if you want to increase the difficulty, again, if your plyo box is a little bit lower, that can increase the difficulty. But the other thing you really can do is to elevate your feet on the plyo box instead of your hands and do these inverse push-ups. This will increase the difficulty a lot. Same exercise, but my feet are elevated instead of my hands. So my head is in line with my spine, my shoulders are away from my ears, my body is in one straight line. I'm going to bend my elbows and lower my chest as close to the ground as I can. Press the ground away to push myself back up. So if you are stronger, you're more advanced, you can do your push-ups with your feet elevated on the plyo box. That's fine. For me, this is going to be challenging enough with my hands elevated on the plyo box, and also, like I said, the exercises are going to flow a little better. So just consider all of those factors and make the decision that is best for you. Now, if you do not have a plyo box, but you still want to do the push-ups this way, a chair can work, or maybe a stool, the arm of your couch, your coffee table, a park bench. So any number of elevated surfaces will work, but just please be smart, be safe, use your common sense. If you are going to be placing your body weight on an elevated surface, you need to make sure that whatever you are using as your elevated surface is strong enough to support your entire body weight. You need to make sure that it is sturdy, meaning that it's not going to collapse or fold up or break when you put weight on it. So for example, you wouldn't want to use something like a folding chair or one of those collapsible stools, okay? And you want to make sure that your elevated surface is stable, meaning that it cannot slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. So my plyo box is ideal. Plyo boxes are made for this. But if you're using a chair or some other household item like the arm of your couch, for example, or a stool, that's not made for this. So you just need to be smart and make sure that you are taking precautions. So if you're using a chair or something like that, I recommend placing your chair or your stool on top of an exercise mat or a yoga mat to help it stay put, so that when you put your weight on it, it can't slide from underneath you. But as long as you have an elevated surface that is strong, sturdy, and stable enough to be used safely, then any number of elevated surfaces can work for your push-ups. But that's it, that's the first exercise. The second and final exercise, there's only 2 exercises, is box jumps. So all we're going to do is just jump up onto the box and then jump down. Super simple. So again, the lower your box to the ground, the easier this will be. And then if you want to increase the difficulty, if you're really strong, you have really strong legs, you can use a tall plyo box and jump on that. So make the decision that is best for you. Now, if you are using a chair or a stool or something, I don't recommend jumping up onto a chair or a stool. Even if your chair or stool is strong enough to support your body weight, it may not be strong enough and sturdy and stable enough if you jump up onto it. Okay, so you may need to modify this exercise if you are using anything other than a plyo box. A park bench, if it's a park bench could work. You might be able to jump on a park bench, possibly, depending on the park bench. depending on how much you weigh. You know, just again, you have to make the decision that's best for you. But I'll show you a modification if you cannot jump up onto your elevated surface safely. All right, but all I'm going to be doing is jumping up and onto my plyo box, and then as I jump down, I'm going to make sure that I'm landing softly on the balls of my feet. So make sure you're not landing flat-footed. Make sure you're not landing with your heel first. All right, we want to protect our knees, and we do that by landing first on the ball of the foot and then rolling through to the heel. All right, so very simple. We're just going to jump up and jump down. It looks like this. All right, super simple, super tough. So if you are using a plyo box but the jumping is too difficult, or if you're using something that you don't feel comfortable jumping up onto, you can just step up. Okay, so step one foot up on the box, step the other foot up, and then step down. Just do your best to make sure that you are alternating which leg is initiating the movement so that you end up even. So then with your next rep, you can step up with the opposite foot and step down with the opposite foot. That is an option if you can't jump up onto your elevated surface. But that's it. Those are the only two exercises. So let's move on to our intermediate version of the workout. And once I've given all of the variations on these two exercises, we'll go over the format, because the format is the same for all three versions of the workout. If these two exercises look familiar, it's because we just did them a couple of weeks ago, and I'll put the link to that workout up here in the iCard, and it will be linked in the description box down below the video. When I was doing that workout, I mentioned that this would make a really great 5-minute workout and that you'd probably be seeing it in an upcoming 5-Minute Friday video. So here we are. So if you like these two exercises and you like this workout, but you're looking for something more today, you can check out that workout. It's basically just what we're doing today, plus some additional cardio. So if you want to kind of turn this into a more substantial workout, that's very easy to do, and you can work out right along with me by clicking on the link in the iCard. But for today, we're just doing this 5-minute version of the workout. So for your intermediate version, you are going to do, first of all, you can do any push-up variation you want for all three versions of the workout. But I'm just going to be doing standard push-ups because without a plyo box or any elevated surface, that is the most similar to what I'm doing on my plyo box. So you can do any push-up variation you want. I'm just going to be doing a standard push-up. So head in line with the spine. Make sure that you're not allowing your head to drop down like this. Make sure you're not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. Make sure that your shoulders are away from your ears, so don't sink down into your shoulders like this. Spread out all 10 fingers and press the ground away from you so that your shoulders are away from your ears, and make sure your back is nice and flat. You're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. You're tightening up those abs, using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. And then once you found that perfectly straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders, nothing moves, you're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the ground as you can. Press yourself back up, return to your starting position, making sure your head stays still. You're not bobbing your head up and down as you're doing the push-ups, and making sure that you are maintaining that straight line from your heels to your shoulders the entire time. Now your goal is to actually touch the ground with your chest, but if you cannot do that, that's fine. You have two options. Option number one is to put your knees down and start doing knee push-ups. Option number two is to simply shorten up your range of motion. It's fine if you don't touch the ground with your chest. What's not fine is to compensate for that by lowering your hips or your belly down to the ground instead, or by lowering your forehead down to the ground to try to kind of trick yourself into thinking that you're getting all the way down. It's fine if you don't get all the way down, just as long as you maintain that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. That's the important part. So just get your chest as close to the ground as you can. And then for the second exercise, instead of box jumps, you can just do jump tucks. So again, we're just jumping, but instead of jumping up onto something, you're just gonna jump up and drive your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. And then again, as you land, you're making sure that you're landing softly on the balls of your feet So make sure you're not coming down flat-footed or on your heel first. Land softly on the balls of your feet and then roll through, all right? So you're just gonna jump up as high as you can, drive those knees up towards your chest as high as you can, and land softly on the balls of your feet. And that's it, just those 2 exercises. And for our beginner / impact free version of the workout, we are going to be doing knee push-ups and marching in place. Now, not all beginners are automatically at the same level just because they're beginners. So just because you're a beginner doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot do the push-ups from your toes. So you can always try doing the push-ups from your toes, and then if that starts to get too challenging, you can put your knees down. But don't be scared to try at least a couple of push-ups from your toes. If you're not there yet, don't worry about it. We'll just do knee push-ups. So same exact exercise, literally the only difference is that instead of your straight line being from your heels to your shoulders, your straight line is going to be from your knees to your shoulders. But other than that, it's the same 3 principles that apply. So head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. Tighten up your abs, use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. So you're going to start by spreading out all 10 fingers, place your hands on the mat directly underneath your shoulders, step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. And now right here, this is where your knees go. Just bend your knees and put them down right where they are. And then from here, you're going to bend your elbows, lower your chest as close to the mat as you can. And then once you've gotten down as close to the mat as you can, you're going to press your hands into the mat, push the mat away from you, push yourself back up into your nice high plank position, and that's it. So again, if you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. You're just going to shorten up your range of motion. So don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down to the mat by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down to the mat by lowering your forehead down to the mat. It sounds kind of silly, but it's actually a really common mistake. I think it's done on a subconscious level. Because like I said earlier, you're just trying so hard to get all the way down that you don't even realize you're doing it. So really be cognizant of where your head is. Make sure your head is in line with your spine. Make sure your head stays still, okay? So if you can't get your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. If you can only get your chest this close to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, then fine, you're gonna stop here, press the mat away from you, push yourself back up, and return to your starting position, and that's your push-up. So just work to your own level and do your best. Remember, your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. Now, for the second exercise, if you are able to do jump tucks, you can do jump tucks. If that's too difficult, but you don't need an impact-free modification, you can just jump, okay? So that's a possibility. But if for whatever reason you have really bad knees or downstairs neighbors and you need to keep it impact-free, then you're just gonna march, all right? So just standing in kind of a neutral position, your feet are about shoulder width apart. You're going to shift your weight into one foot, pick up the other knee and drive it up towards your chest as high as you can. Place that foot down and repeat on the other side. So you're just marching in place. 2 marches is 1 rep, okay? So you would count like this. March, march. That's 1, 2. Drive the knee, drive the other knee. That's 3, and 4. Just so that we end up even on both sides and we don't have to keep track of which leg we're on. But that's it. It's basically just a jump tuck, but instead of driving both knees up at the same time, you're driving up 1 knee at a time so that you can keep it impact free. And that's it. That's both exercises. So now here's the format. We are going to be doing a ladder workout. We're going to be ascending our ladder. So what that means is that we're going to just be going back and forth between these 2 exercises. You can kind of mix and match whatever versions of these exercises work for you. We're just going back and forth between these 2 exercises. But with each round, we're adding 1 rep of each exercise. So I'm going to start by doing 1 push-up and 1 box jump or jump tuck or whatever you're doing. And then I'm going to do 2 push-ups and 2 box jumps. Then 3 push-ups and 3 box jumps. And we're going to keep going that way, adding on 1 rep of each exercise with each round until our 5 minutes is up. So it's a 5-minute AMRAP, AMRAP, that stands for as many rounds as possible. So we're doing as many rounds as we can during a 5-minute countdown without sacrificing form. But it's also a ladder workout. With each round, we're climbing 1 more rung up the ladder, meaning that we're adding 1 rep of each exercise with each round. And that's it. It's a super simple format. But remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video. And I'm going to do all 3 versions of the workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions. But then, of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how it all fits together, if you have any questions about these exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. It's really important that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you are getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it's also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I'm always here to help facilitate that. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also want to remind you before we begin to just make sure that you are working to your own level. Please do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do. This workout is very short. It's only 5 minutes long. So the goal is to keep moving. The goal is to complete as many reps of these 2 exercises as you possibly can. But the goal is to complete those reps with excellent form. So if you find that you are just racing through the exercises because you're trying to go really, really fast, just for the sake of going fast so you can say that you got a great score, but your form starts to get sloppy, that means you need to slow down so that you do not get hurt. And if you start to feel like you're pushing yourself a little bit too hard, maybe pushing yourself into something you're not quite ready for, it is fine to pause and rest. If you need to pause and rest, please make the decision that is best for you. You should be going at your own pace. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. And please just be smart, be safe, listen to your body, and use your common sense. If you need to rest, rest. All right, that's fine. Challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. If you find that you need to pause and rest, then you should only resume the workout once you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina to continue with good form. All right, hopefully I have covered everything. If you're ready to go ahead and start this workout, go ahead and gather whatever equipment you need for your version of the workout. So if you have fitness gloves, I think it would be a great idea to grab those. If you need something soft beneath you for your push-ups, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If not, maybe a towel. Grab a plyo box or 2 if you have access to something like that. If not, you can use some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface like maybe a park bench or a chair. And then you can pause the video, go get dressed, meet me right back here. We're starting with a quick 5-minute warm-up, and then we're going to get started on our beginner/impact-free version of the workout. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm-up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. You are not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. Your arm is completely relaxed and you're just letting gravity do all the work. It's just the weight of your arm being used to gently stretch the other side of your neck. And now we're going to do the other side, so allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Your arm is completely relaxed and your shoulders are relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are not creeping up by your ears. Shoulders back and down, away from the ears. Next, we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to start by allowing your chin to fall towards your chest and then towards the other shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head from one shoulder to the other, just start feeling your head get heavier and heavier. You're expanding your range of motion each time you roll your head, allowing your entire torso to just kind of fall down in front of your body. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Now roll the shoulders back. Make big circles, as big as you can make them. Really exaggerate the movement, explore your full range of motion. And next we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So you're going to begin by extending your arms out to the side and just making small circles. But gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you're making those circles as big as you can, really exploring your full range of motion. Now you're going to step your feet out a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bend your knees and sweep your hands down in front of you as you straighten the legs. You're reaching up towards the ceiling. And each time you bend your knees, you're expanding your range of motion a little bit more, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now leave your feet planted right where they are. We're just going to lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching across your body like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Next, we're going to march in place. So you're going to step your feet in and just march. Knees low to start, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a little stretch in your glutes. And now we're going to jog in place. And again, knees low to start, but gradually you're going to start driving your knees up a little higher, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Next is booty kicks. So with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you. Really try to kick yourself in the booty cheek with your heel. For this next one, you may need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're going to transfer your weight into one foot, pick up the other foot, and just swing your leg front and back. Nice and loose. Next, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to put this foot down, shift your weight, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg in front of you, swing it behind you. You can start low, and then gradually you can start increasing your range of motion, kicking that leg higher and higher. Now we're going to switch legs again, so put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the other foot, extend the leg out in front of you, and then bring the leg around and behind you, making a semicircle. And with each semicircle, you're lifting that leg higher and higher. And now for the last two, you're going to drive your knee up in front of you. Use your hand to kind of guide it around. Other leg. So transferring your weight, extending one leg out in front of you, drawing that leg around and behind you. Each time you make that semicircle, lifting the leg higher and higher, and then finally driving the knee up in front of you. Use your hand to guide it around for a hip circle. And finally, we're just going to do a quick hamstring stretch. So I'm using this post just to demonstrate. You can use the wall or a chair, but the point is that you want to keep your back as flat as you can so that you isolate your hamstrings more effectively in this stretch. So if you use a chair or the wall to assist you, just might make it easier to do getting into this pose while keeping your back flat. Might make the pose a little bit more accessible for you, a little more comfortable. But that's it. That's our little 5-minute warm up. So let's go ahead and get started on this beginner / impact free version of the workout. If you do your push-ups from your knees, just make sure that you have something soft beneath you. And as soon as you're ready, here we go. We're starting with 1 push-up and 2 marches. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is a 10-second rest interval, just so we have a little bit of time to get ready. and we don't lose anything off of our 5-minute work interval. So here we go. 1 push-up, either from your toes or from your knees. Now step the feet in. You're gonna stand and march. 1, 2. Now back to our push-ups. 2 push-ups this time. 1 and 2. Step the feet in, and we're gonna march 2 reps, but each 2 marches is 1 rep. So that's 1 and 2. So we're going to keep climbing our ladder by adding 1 rep of each exercise with each round. So now 3 push-ups, step the feet in, and 3 marches, double counted. So march, march. That's 1, 2, and 3. Now 4 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 marches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure you're really driving those knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Adding on 1 push-up, so now we're doing 5 push-ups. Do your best. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Step the feet in, and 5 marches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you don't need to keep it impact-free, remember you can jump instead of march, or you can do a jump tuck if you prefer. Just make the decision that's best for you. Let's keep going. We're almost halfway there. So adding on 1 more push-up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Step the feet in, and we're gonna march 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now 7 push-ups. I know it's getting hard. Hang in there with me. Let's keep pushing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Nice job. 7 marches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now 8 push-ups if you can. Remember, spread out all 10 fingers. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Step back into your plank. Knees go down. Now keep your head in line with your spine. Keep your body in one straight line from your knees all the way to your shoulders. And as soon as you're ready, here we go. 8 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice. 8 marches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have a little bit of time left, so let's get started on these 9 push-ups. See if we can complete all 9 push-ups before time is up. Knees down and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now let's get up and start on our marches. Maybe we can get all 9 done. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our 5 minutes. Let's just finish up these final 4 reps. That's 6, 7, 8. Last one. That's 9. And that's it. That's our 5 minutes. We did it. Amazing job. If you are an absolute beginner and you managed to hang in there with me for the entire 5 minutes, well done, because that was really tough. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So if you are a beginner, I'll walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. You're going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. Now bend down, place your hands flat on the mat in front of you, step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Knees down for your push-up. You can eliminate the push-up if you would prefer to. We've done a lot of push-ups. Now step the feet in and stand. Come up onto your toes for a calf raise if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. So that completes our beginner / impact-free version of the workout. If you feel that you are strong enough and you would like to try the more advanced version of the workout, the next thing we're going to do is going to be kind of an intermediate level. So you don't need any equipment. We're going to be doing essentially the same 2 exercises, but I'm going to be doing my push-ups from my toes, and instead of driving up one knee at a time towards my chest, I'm going to be doing jump tucks, which means that I'm going to be driving both knees up towards my chest at the same time. So jump up, drive the knees up towards the chest, and then land softly on the balls of your feet. The format is the same. We're doing a 5-minute AMRAP / ladder workout. So we're going to start with 1 push-up and 1 jump tuck, and then with each subsequent round, we will add on 1 rep of each of those 2 exercises until our 5 minutes is up. So if you want to try the intermediate version of the workout, that is next. If you do not want to continue on and you're finished for the day, that's great. Thank you for joining me. Just take a few minutes to cool down. So if you want to cool down with me, you can use the chapter markers to skip over the intermediate and advanced versions of the workout. Skip straight ahead to the cool down and take about 5 minutes or so to do a quick cool down with me, and then make sure you're taking a few minutes to stretch before you have your shower and eat some lunch and get on with the rest of your day. All right, so as soon as you are ready, let's go ahead and get started on this intermediate version of the workout. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. This is a 10-second rest interval, so take a couple of seconds to get ready. We're starting with 1 push-up and 1 jump tuck. Mind your form on your push-up, please. Body in 1 straight line from your heels to your shoulders. Now jump or step the feet in. We're going to do 1 jump tuck. So jump in the air, drive your knees up as high as you can towards your chest, and make sure you're landing softly on the balls of your feet. We're just going to keep going back and forth between those 2 exercises, but with each subsequent round, we're adding on 1 rep of each exercise. So now 2 push-ups. Jump or step the feet in, and we're going to do 2 jump tucks. Now 3 push-ups. Jump or step the feet in, and 3 jump tucks. 4 push-ups. And 4 jump tucks. If the jump tucks are too difficult, you can just jump like that, that's fine. 5 push-ups. And 5 jump tucks. As you fatigue, It might start to get harder and harder to drive those knees up really high. Just do your best. 6 push-ups. And 6 jump tucks. I know it's getting hard, do your best. Seven push-ups. 7 jump tucks. 8 push-ups. 8 jump tucks. Keep pushing. Push-ups, if you can. Jump tucks. That's it. That's our 5 minutes. But I only need to do 5 more jump tucks to complete this round. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these last 5 reps done, just to complete the round. You don't have to if you don't want to. So I've done 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Really nice job. That was a super tough 5 minutes. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have to do just 1 more rep. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, this intermediate version of our super tough 5-minute workout is now officially complete. So if you are not continuing on with me and doing the advanced version of the workout, please go ahead and use the chapter markers to skip ahead to the cool down, do a quick 5-minute cool down with me, and then make sure you're taking a good 15 or 20 minutes to stretch If you are continuing on with me, we just have one more version of this workout to go. It's going to be super tough. So grab your plyo box or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface. I also recommend grabbing a pair of fitness gloves. If you have them, it's just going to make it a lot more comfortable grabbing onto the plyo box for your push-ups. So as soon as you are ready, let's go ahead and get started on this more advanced version of the workout. We're doing push-ups with our hands elevated on the plyo box, and we're doing box jumps. That's it, just those two exercises. Let's see how many reps we can complete in 5 minutes. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is a 10-second rest interval. We're going to start with 1 push-up and 1 box jump. So hands on the plyo box, 1 push-up. Now step the feet in. We're going to jump up onto the plyo box and back down. Landing softly on the balls of your feet. Make sure you're not landing on your heel. Make sure you're not landing flat-footed. Land softly on the balls of your feet and roll through. Now back to push-ups. This round we're doing 2 push-ups. Step the feet in, 2 box jumps. So with each subsequent round, we're adding on 1 rep of each exercise. So next, we're doing 3 push-ups. And 3 box jumps. 4 push-ups. 4 box jumps. 5. And 5. Six push-ups. 7. Going. 8 push-ups. 9 box jumps. I'll take it. Well done. That was an intense 5 minutes. We are not quite finished yet. As you know, no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you are ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. So let's just go ahead and do a quick cool down together. It's really important to get up and just move around for a few minutes while you allow your breathing to normalize and while you allow your heart rate to come down a little bit. You want to just kind of keep the circulation going. So you can just kind of pace around back and forth, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Let's do a quick shoulder stretch. So just bringing one arm across your body, using your other arm to pull it in tight towards your chest. Make sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed, and more importantly, make sure that your shoulder is completely relaxed. If your shoulder's all tense and hunched up by your ear, you're not going to be able to get the benefits of this stretch. Your muscle needs to be relaxed in order for it to be pliable enough so that you can stretch it effectively. Shake out the arms. Let's get the other side. So bringing your opposite arm across your body, using your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Make sure your straight arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulder is relaxed, and make sure you're continuing to move. I always just kind of shift my weight from foot to foot, but if you prefer, you can just kind of pace around, shake out the legs, but you just want to keep moving and keep focusing on your breath. Make sure you're being deliberate with your breathing. Long, slow, deep, controlled breaths. Now let's get the triceps. So bending one elbow, place your hand on the elbow and just gently use this hand to pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that your free hand is completely relaxed and your fingers are pointing straight down at the ground. So you want to make sure that this free hand is not kind of hanging out up here somewhere by the shoulder. Fingers should be pointing straight down at the ground. You're gently pulling this elbow towards the opposite shoulder, feeling that nice stretch in your triceps. Shake it out. Let's get the other side. So bending the opposite arm, place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Your free hand is relaxed. Fingers are pointing straight down at the ground. Keep moving. Shake out the legs, pace around, or you can just kind of shift your weight from foot to foot and make sure you're continuing to focus on your breath. One more deep breath here. One final little stretch in that tricep. Nice, shake it out. Going to finish with a quad stretch. So if you struggle with balance, you can hold onto the wall or a chair for support. You're going to bend one knee, bring your foot behind you. Now reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands, pressing your heel into your booty cheek. As you do that, you're focusing on your breath, of course, but you're also tilting your pelvis forward, meaning that you're kind of tucking your booty underneath you. Imagine trying to touch your spine with your belly button. And as you do that, you are continuing to press your heel into your booty cheek. As soon as you combine both of those elements, you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify as you isolate your quad muscles more effectively. And you're also going to feel that stretch extend up into your hip flexor as well. So let's get the other side, bending the opposite leg. Bring the foot behind you. Reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Press that heel into your booty cheek. And as you do that, you are tucking your booty underneath you, tilting your pelvis forward. Suck that belly button back towards your spine, and make sure you're continuing to press your heel into your booty cheek. As you do that, feel that stretch intensify in your quad muscles. Feel the stretch extend up to your hip flexor, and make sure you are continuing to focus on your breath. And one more time, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms a little bit, shake out the legs, and that's it. That is our little cool down. Now, if you feel that you're still breathing kind of heavily and your heart rate is still elevated, just continue to pace around for a couple more minutes. You can do a little more light stretching, that's great. Just remember that this little bit of light stretching that we do during the cool down does not take the place of a proper stretching routine. It's still really important to make sure that you're taking a good 15 or 20 minutes at least to stretch every single day if you can. Right now, immediately after the workout is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. But if you don't have time right now, that's fine. You can do your stretching later on in the day. As long as you get it done, that's the important thing. It doesn't matter what you do for a stretching routine. It doesn't matter when you stretch, just as long as you're not skipping your stretching. It's really important to take the time to stretch every day. It's going to help alleviate any muscle soreness that you might experience after the workouts. It's also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and it's going to improve your flexibility and your mobility. So just remember that if you do put off your stretching until later in the day, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to have to take a couple of minutes to warm them back up before jumping into your stretching routine so that you don't injure yourself. I don't want you to overstretch or strain something or pull a muscle. So make sure you take a couple of minutes to warm your muscles back up if you're going to be doing your stretching later. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. So if you did this little 5-minute workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Let me know which version or versions of the workout you did. Thank you to everyone who's been working out with me lately. And even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything was unclear about the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, if you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions and beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help, so please just ask. If you enjoy these little 5-minute workouts and you would like to see more of them, please remember that I have an entire playlist of 5-minute workouts on my channel. I will link it right there, and we will be continuing to do these 5-minute Fridays every week for the foreseeable future. So that means that I will be continuing to bring you at least one new 5-minute workout a week every week for the foreseeable future. That is going to do it for today. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you all right back here on Monday. Bye.